So I made a very interesting connection a little while ago in a man by the name of Charlie Zelenov. If you don't know Charlie Zelenov, or as he calls himself, Charlie Z the GOAT, he is a man who not only claims to be a boxer, but also the best boxer ever, with an undefeated record of over 590 wins and no losses at the time of this recording. Now, if that sounds too good to be true, that's because it is. The way Charlie racks up these wins is by going to local fitness centers, asking people if they want to spar lightly, and then assaulting them when they say yes. Typically, these people only reluctantly say yes because they're either being pressured to or they're just trying to be polite. But when they do say yes, Charlie ends up slinging leather full bore, going 100%, not holding anything back. As of late, he hasn't even gone to any fitness centers. He's just been approaching people on the street and sucker punching them after a brief exchange of words. Every time he does this, no matter what happens, whether it's a one-punch KO or if the person eats the punch and ends up kicking his ass, he always goes back to the internet to say that he won the fight. It's pretty unhinged, and there's a couple of different videos out there, including one by Count Dankula, if you want to see an in-depth detail of his exploits. The reason I preface this video with an explanation of who Charlie is to 1, explain who he is to anybody who doesn't know, but 2, to also lay out what we know about him publicly. The man has been arrested many a time, and he's clearly a very mentally ill and unstable person. This is a man with a messed up perception of himself and the world around him who's willing to go to great lengths to legitimize that view. And frankly, the heights that he's achieved in this have been almost impressive. Because of his endless smack talk and willingness to show up, he ended up fighting Deontay Wilder and Floyd Mayweather Sr., who are two legends of the game. He got beat to a pulp both times, but imagine being able to say you got to move around with those guys. Now, even with all that, one of the weird things that I noticed when I was speaking to this guy is that there's almost a sense of self-awareness to him. And no, I don't mean that he's trolling either. What I mean by this is that we have a man who has no purpose in life. To my understanding, he isn't classically trained in anything at all. To my knowledge, he had one boxing match that ended in a DQ loss for him. He has no real goals or hobbies, and to call boxing a goal or even a hobby would not really be true. All he has is a facade, an ego that he created in which he is the greatest ever. Undisputed, no question. And yet he keeps picking fights with people, and he keeps going to the internet to declare his greatness every single time. The more I spoke to this guy, the more I realized that just as much as he was trying to convince us, he was also trying to convince himself, because without his undefeated, undisputed GOAT status, he has nothing. And although I feel that nothing is a hell of a lot better than what he's got going on now, I also can't help but feel a degree of sadness over him and his life. The delusions he has are a little bit fascinating to me, because while there's a bunch of different odd and ill people on the internet, this guy seems to simultaneously be down to earth while also being off his rocker. I think the sentience and lucidity that he shows is probably one of the main reasons he's not committed to a psychiatric facility. I think maybe people don't truly realize how bad the problem is, because when he's not talking about boxing or Kim K or anything like that, he can behave and converse like the rest of us. He also isn't rambling about the radio talking to him or seeing secret messages in his front yard or anything like that. Wanting to be a good fighter and having a celebrity crush are two very real things that normal people can feel, and they're not insane for feeling it. Someone like Terry Davis was known to be a more widely recognizable flavor of deluded. Some of the things he said and did were what people could easily recognize as insane, and I think that's part of the reason why some people grew to like him. They knew it wasn't really his fault, and he was an interesting personality who had his moments of genius in between rambling about bioluminescent individuals. But someone like Charlie is hated and goofed on to this day. His heyday was in the mid-2010s, but you can still find his videos floating around. Everyone always laughs and jokes when they see the videos of him getting his comeuppance. While I don't think the exploits of Terry Davis are the same as the exploits of Charlie Zelenov, I do believe they both come from very mentally ill individuals who need to receive care. And because of this, it's really hard for me to join in on the smack talk. Wherever Charlie ends up in life, whether it's in an institution or on medications or anything like that, I really don't want to be memeing on him or making fun of him or anything like that. I also never liked seeing that viral video of his where he ends up getting basically tortured by a group of guys in a gym somewhere, even before the revelation I had. I always thought it was disgusting and that those people were just as bad, and if not, maybe even worse than Charlie himself. I really just hope he stops soon if he hasn't already, and when I was on an Instagram live with him a while ago, I was playing into his delusions, but only because I was trying to see if I could use the delusions to get him to stop. If you see the recording on my Patreon, you'll notice that I keep talking about retirement and how there's nothing left to prove and he should just hang it up because what's the point? Although I don't really think it worked, because when I spoke to him on the Instagram live, his record was smaller than it is now. Regardless, I really just hope and pray for the best for everybody. But that's all that I have for you today. This video is actually one part part of a multi-part post that I'm doing between YouTube and Patreon. I have a recording of a stream that I was on with Charlie, as well as some DMs between he and I prior to the stream. If you want to check those out, hit up my Patreon. The link will be in the description as well as maybe the comments. It's $5 a month for that, as well as a bunch of other exclusive content that you can't get outside of it. Other than that, if you like this video, leave a like and also sub for more. If you have anything to say, feel free to leave a comment down below. And until next time, thank you for watching and good luck out there.